Welcome back to Zombie Recaps. Today, I will show you a 2005 zombie movie titled Land of the Dead. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. A long time ago, a catastrophe wiped out much of human civilization for some reason. The recently deceased had come back to life and taken the lives of the living. After a few years, zombies are everywhere in a small town, and they seem to remember their lives before they die. Some zombies attempt to play instruments in a town square as if they're on a date. A teenage boy zombie holds hands with a female teen zombie passing by a gas station where the zombie attendant hears a bell, indicating that someone is present. Upon hearing a bell, Big Daddy presumed to be a gas boy before she steps out and prepares to fill a car with gas. But he realizes that there's no car. At the same time, Riley and his new rookie are watching Big Daddy through binoculars from a distance. Riley notices that the zombies are becoming more intelligent as he sees Big Daddy signaling others. Riley is part of a group that travels to small towns to collect supplies for people in the last known human city. They head back to their headquarters in preparation for retrieving supplies at the post. Riley and the rookie run into Kala, who also shares Riley's job. Riley warns Zola that the zombies are thinking and that they should be cautious when entering the town. However, Schiller dismisses Riley's warning and mocks them before leaving Riley's last night out is approaching, and he doesn't want anyone to die. Chukwu also reveals that this is his last night out. The night out begins simultaneously. The motley crew of humans piles into their jeeps and motorcycles and heads into their designations, while Pretty Boy, the female operator, lets off some fireworks over the city, causing all zombies to look up at the sky as their eyes are fixed on the lights. The crews can move and shoot freely throughout the town without zombies noticing them. However, Big Daddy is the only zombie who doesn't look at the fireworks. Big Daddy observes the guns and tries to persuade his undead companions to flee, but they refuse. He grabs one zombie trying to save him, but a machine gun blows its head off. Still holding the zombie's head, he notices that it's still looking at the fireworks. To put it out of its misery, he drops the face and stomps on it, crushing its brains. Big Daddy screams with rage. Meanwhile, Riley supervises everyone over communications, while Riley and his mentally challenged friend Charlie are heading to get medical supplies. A zombie tries to attack them. Fortunately, Riley notices and shoots it down. Suddenly, the fireworks are gone. The zombies are back to their senses and become aware of the humans. Riley commands everyone to return to their station. However, Zulu tells Riley that he has to make one more stop at a store where Zola plans to steal alcohol. Afterward, Pretty Boy summons the courage to take their bus, the Dead Reckoning, into the town to distract the zombies enough for everyone to return to the station. Dead Reckoning is essentially a bus, train, and tank, all rolled in one, and is armed with metal gears, machine guns, rockets, and explosives. The truck successfully terminates most of the zombies. On the other hand, Lo and his friends arrive at the alcohol store. They carefully enter the shop and secure the place. Once clear, Solo looks for high-quality alcohol, which leads him into the champagne section. Upon opening the refrigerator, a zombie falls on him and tries to bite him. Solo pulls his spear gun from his leg and blasts the zombie's brains out. He takes the champagne and heads into the counter to get a box of cigarettes. Some cigarettes fall off the counter while the rookie reaches for cigarettes. A security guard zombie bites a chunk out of the rookie's hand. The rookie screams in agony and staggers out the door. Riley and Charlie arrive at the store to check what's going on. Riley immediately runs toward the bed and rookie, but Chiller tells him to step back because he intends to shoot the rookie. While Challoner and Riley argue, the rookie snatches Riley's pistol and blows his own brains out. Later that night, the crew is heading back to the station. Unbothered by the zombies, they playfully cross the horde of zombies while teasing them. The daddy tries to grab one of the bikers before they leave, but he accidentally grabs his machine gun instead. He doesn't know what to do with it, so he slings it over his shoulder and begins walking towards the station. The following day, Chipolo and his friends happen to see the TV commercial for Fiddler's Green, an upper-class community on a hill overlooking the city that has its own mall, bank, and restaurants with waiters dressed in tuxedos. Riley and Charlie come, still upset about what happened the night before. Riley confronts Chipolo, telling him to give the rookie some respect, seeing that he still celebrates with his friends drinking the alcohol they were stolen. He also reminds Talolo of his responsibilities, but Shola tells him he aspires to be in Fiddler's Green. Later that day, Riley and Charlie head into the city where there is strict security surrounding Fiddler's Green. The wealthy reside there, while the rest of the population are on the streets below. The exclusive community is protected by electrified fences and soldiers on patrol. A stray zombie tries to climb the wall and is immediately electrocuted and shot to pieces. It is also surrounded by water, and the only way to get into the city is through a bridge. Riley visits an old man who he used to work with within the slums below Fiddler's Green. He hands antibiotics to the old man's son as the boy looks sick and cold. He then leaves and heads into a car shop where he expects to get a car that he would use to drive away to a place with fewer people living in peace. He's surprised to see his car is gone. He rushes out to find the man who worked on the car. At the same time, Chilo also heads into Fiddler's Green, confident that the owner and manager, Mr. Kaufman, will let him in. He is able to pass through security and walks through Fiddler's Green's lavish mall, eventually arriving on the top floor at Mr. Kaufman's office. He casually greets him as he pours some champagne into glasses and gives. Mr. Kaufman's shoulder tells him that he will retire with all the money that Mr. Kaufman owes him for doing filthy business for him. Kaufman, however, informs him that the space is limited in Fiddler's Green and only certain people are allowed to stay there. Kahlo is upset as Mr. Kaufman belittles him, threatening to expose his crime. Kaufman calms him down as he secretly calls the security officer to Central, or away as Chipolo, and the officer leaves the office. The officer tries to shoot Cello, but Cello outsmarts him and knocks the officer down instead. He immediately leaves Fiddler's Green. Later that day, Riley and Charlie arrive in an underground compound filled with music and gambling in search of the man. They come across several booths where people can interact with zombies, such as a photo booth paintball. And there's even an arena where two zombies fight and people bet on them. Finally, Riley spots the man he's looking for, Chihuahua, a midget man who promised him a car. He grabs him and confronts him about his car, but Chihuahua says he'll find it soon. Riley puts him down, and the midget runs away and signals his guards to keep an eye on Riley. Meanwhile, the betting begins to make the zombies fight. They throw in a woman named Slack as she desperately tries to keep the zombies off. The crowd cheers. Riley notices what's going on and shoots the two zombies to save the poor girl, causing the crowd to panic and rush out. Aiming for Charlie, the midget mistakenly gunned down an innocent man while Riley takes his chance to kill him. The bullet goes straight into him, but he is wearing a bulletproof suit. Chihuahua angrily gets up as Riley ruined his purple suit. So when he sees an opportunity to shoot him, he fires his gun. Fortunately, Slack spots the midget and saves Riley by kicking him to the ground, but the bullet grazes her arm. Charlie watches the midget trying to escape and calmly aims his gun before firing a shot, hitting Chihuahua dead on the head. The police arrive and demand to know what is going on. With the three of them left alone, the police arrest them. On the other hand, the zombies encounter a wooden gate. Big Daddy sees the butcher zombie's meat cleaver and tells him to hit the gate. The butcher zombie repeatedly hits it until Big Daddy can see through. A zombie appears in front of the hole and notices they are upside down. More zombies hang upside down, with target signs wrapped around their bodies. Big Daddy screams in rage as he sees the zombies struggling Riley. Charlie and Slack have been arrested and detained. Charlie questions Slack as to why she was placed in the cage with the zombies. She tells him that she wanted to be a soldier, but someone thought she could have been a better call girl, so she ended up on the streets. Riley informs her that she failed to respond to Charlie's question. Slack then tells them that Kaufman is in charge of everything at Fiddler's Green, from betting to street walking. She attempted to assist some people who Kaufman did not regard favorably, and as a result, she was sentenced to the cage fight. Slack inquires about Riley's story, and he responds that nothing terrible has happened to him. She claims that the zombies affected everyone, which is awful. Riley isn't the type to engage in conversation, so Slack takes a stimulant from her boot and smokes it. Afterward, Salo and his friends decide to steal the Dead Reckoning and hold Fiddler's Green for ransom. Schiller tries to pass off an old permit to the soldier, but he doesn't buy it when Solo is about to grab his gun. He hears gunfire. Schiller takes his gun, wondering what it is, but the soldier says that there's nothing to worry about since the gun fired comes from the target practice. At the same time, two soldiers are playing around as they randomly shoot the giant inflatable person. The shooter says that he would shoot better if the other soldier would stop bothering him, which confuses the other soldiers since he's doing nothing. He then turns the light behind them and searches the grounds. There's no one there, but suddenly Big Daddy appears and screams at them. C.H. Hiller hears the scream and asks if they're practicing. Yelling to Big Daddy suddenly appears with a slew of zombies and knocks over a non-electrical gate. Soldiers are blasting the zombies, but there are too many of them. They destroy the fence and tear the soldiers apart. Kahlo and his companions successfully take the dead reckoning when Big Daddy sees the vehicle. He recalls what it did to the other zombies and grips his machine gun tightly in his hand. It starts firing at the ground. He then raises it and fires a dead reckoning. He hits it, but some of his shots go astray, causing a propane tank to explode, accidentally setting a zombie on fire. The daddy then notices Fiddler's green tower across the lake and joins the other zombies in making their way towards the lake. Once safe, Collar reaches out to Kaufman, who is surprised to see the cello is still alive. Zillow offers Kaufman a deal to give him and his crew $5 million, or he will use Dead Reckoning to blow up Fiddler's green collar once the funds to be delivered to the port by midnight. Feeling distressed, Kaufman orders the police to bring Riley into his office. When Riley arrives, Hoffman informs him about Chipolo and orders Riley to kill Kala. In return, he gets to have his vehicle back and enough weapons to last him a long time. Riley accepts the deal and demands the assistance of his friends in completing this mission. Kaufman seems fine with it. When Riley goes back, the police immediately release them. A soldier offers Charlie a machine gun, but Charlie prefers his rifle. Slack gladly accepts the machine gun instead. Kaufman is wary of Riley and his friends, so he sends 3 soldiers with them: a tough guy Monolith, a wisecracking female soldier, Motown, and a hulking soldier, Pillsbury. They later proceed to the army post in the hopes of obtaining the vehicle, but they find it engulfed in flames and in ruins. They split into 2 groups where Riley and Monolith go off on their own to look for keys for a jeep. While Charlie and the rest of the group gather around a jeep, Riley and the Moneylender explore a dark supply bunk. They hear a dripping sound, and when they look around, they find a couple of zombies munching bodies. They search further. Monolith is ready to fire his machine gun at them, but Riley advises him to use their handguns, blasting some zombies away. The other team decides to dispatch a jeep outside. Charlie suddenly licks his rifle as he is aiming at something nearby. He takes aim at Slack with a rifle. She panics and draws her machine gun, but Charlie is actually aiming at a zombie behind her. They continue to work around the jeep when suddenly Slack pulls the trigger on her machine gun and aims it in Charlie's direction. But she repays the favor by killing a zombie behind him at the jeep. Riley and Monketti meet up with the rest of the team once everyone is in the jeep. A decapitated zombie approaches Monketti and startles him. However, the zombie's head is not totally decapitated, but it hangs behind his back. Pillsbury dispatches the zombie, and they flee on their way. Riley discloses that a homing device he placed in the center of Dead Reckoning allows him to track it so he knows where Tolo is. Slack asks Riley about how long Monolith has before he turns into a zombie, prompting him to share his story about his brother, who turned in less than an hour, and Riley had no choice but to kill him. Slack gazes at him and then turns around to kill Monolith. A little while later, Riley tells Slack, who is driving the jeep, to pull over right away. She does, and Charlie is now holding Pillsbury and Motown hostage with a gun. Riley understands that Kaufman will most likely break their agreement and has probably paid the 3 soldiers to assassinate him and his companions once they locate Dead Reckoning. Riley threatens the 2 frightened soldiers, who immediately surrender. They keep driving to find Dead Reckoning. In the meantime, Morse informs Kala that the money has not arrived. He then shoots down a zombie who attempted to enter the boathouse. When he examines the body, he is attacked by some zombies and they devour him. Big Daddy and the zombies are at the lake staring at the water. Big Daddy leads by jumping into the water, and the zombies follow him. They manage to cross the lake by walking underwater. The daddy slowly rises from the water as more and more zombies appear, preparing to attack the humans once they arrive in the city. Zombies attack 2 women who are making out. A soldier tries throwing a grenade, but the butcher zombie cuts off the soldier's hand, causing the soldiers to fall over the grenade. At the same time, Riley and his companions finally locate the Dead Reckoning. Pillsbury knocks Motown out, earning Riley's trust, while Pillsbury and Slack hide in the nearby bushes. Riley and Charlie head to Dead Reckoning alone. Riley and Charlie eventually talk their way into the vehicle, but Lowe and his men hold him at gunpoint. Kala draws his spear gun and places it beneath Riley's chin as Pretty Boy prepares to launch a rocket attack on Fiddler's Green. Riley is protesting because the destruction will kill many innocent people in the slums below. Slack recognizes that they are in danger and prepares to fire. Meanwhile, Motown regains his consciousness. grabs a gun, and sprints over the car. She manages to locate Jallo and prepares to shoot him. However, Riley sees her from a distance, kicking Solo out of the dead reckoning to save him. A zombie attacks her, biting and ripping a chunk out of her neck. Finally, Riley gives Solo and Foxy some guns and allows them to leave. Pretty Boy turns dead, reckoning towards the city to save the people, and Riley takes over Taylor's crew. When Zulu and Foxy begin to walk away, they come across a zombie biting Cruella's arm. Schiller refuses to be shut down as he plans to do something else. He returns to the city's outskirts to take revenge against Kaufman. On the other hand, Kaufman notices and hears explosions in the streets below and believes Dead Reckoning has opened fire on the city. However, Riley informs him that it isn't Hollow, but the zombies. Kaufman then grabs a couple of bags with cash and prepares to leave. The zombies and Big Daddy have arrived at the mall's entrance, trying to avoid certain death. The shoppers trample each other. Daddy finds Kaufman, who shoots him but misses his head and hits him in the leg and shoulder instead. Big Daddy yells as he pursues Kaufman, who heads to the parking lot as Kaufman's servant opens the garage door. Big Daddy sneaks up on the car while he's gone and begins smashing it with his bare hands. When the servant notices the zombie, he runs away with the keys to the vehicle. When Big Daddy sees a gas nozzle nearby, he begins pouring gasoline all over the car before walking away. Kaufman leaves his vehicle and searches the area for Big Daddy. He takes a spare set of car keys from his bag and prepares to drive away alone. Solo, on the other hand, emerges from the shadows with his spear gun. He misses Kaufman and is shot in the chest instead. But he doesn't fall. Kaufman fires more bullets into his leg until Kala gradually drops to the ground. Solo gets back up and attacks Kaufman. Solo is now a zombie, and Kaufman is out of bullets before Jolo can tear out his throat. Big Daddy returns with a propane tank on fire. He tosses it into the car, which explodes, killing Jolo and Kaufman with his money all over the place. Big Daddy seems content. When Dead Reckoning finally arrives in the city, they discover only zombies feasting on humans. There appear to be no survivors in the town. Riley instructs Charlie and Pretty Boy to launch rockets at the zombies. Riley notices that no one is moving when the smoke clears. However, people gradually emerge and approach them, and it turns out some people survive. They intend to rebuild the city progressively but steadily. Riley is still planning to travel to the north. His friends want to join him intend to follow Riley through binoculars. Riley sees Big Daddy, who is leading his zombies out of the city. However, he decides not to kill him because the zombies, like Riley and his friends, are only looking for a place to call home in Dead Reckoning. Riley and his crew head to north and light fireworks in the sky as they won't need them anymore. This story highlights the distinction between three social classes fenced off from each other in an explosive, apocalyptic environment. First is the exploitative elite class, as represented by those that live in Fiddler's Green. Then the oppressed class, those that live in the slums, and finally the disorganized class composing zombies who begin to assert their own authority in the world. Make sure to subscribe to Zombie Recaps and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.